No. Nothing
I
I say
saw a
was
lot
really
of stupid people
so.
driving home from Seattle last
But
night.
all right, so we are live on Facebook. We're going to give people a few minutes to join us before we officially start the show.
I saw a lot of, I just got the notification. I saw a lot of stupid people driving.
Well, doing your Uber driver, you're going to see a lot of stupid stuff. I've got some of my stories, the best stories are
Driving?
from back when I was driving all of the state, working for TVW.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some really stupid people doing stupid things. So,
Well, just coming home last night from Seattle in the snow.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. People going too fast. I had this woman, you get those piles of snow in the centers, or between the lanes.
yeah,
So, of course, trying to change lanes over those things is damn near impossible. You got to
Yep.
be real careful because it'll snatch you around if you're not careful. So I kick on my blinker and I'm slowly changing lanes, trying to change lanes. And I got my left tire hung up, so I wasn't quite over it. Well, this woman was just in such a hurry. She then comes zipping up beside me, and I haven't even finished changing lanes yet.
wow,
And I thought, well, if I get thrown back into that lane, I'm going to,
bink bongo, you're going to bounce off. Yeah,
So,
yep. Well, people in Washington don't know how to drive the snow. Cracks me up. All right.
well, but the
So,
difference is they think they do.
We're at 7:00, and we're going to start the show. We don't have an announcer anymore.
Not at all.
Yeah, well, our other one's still on vacation, and Cookie Monster quit last week, so
So what
our
are we supposed
producer
to do?
was really crappy. So
Okay, so how are we supposed to do the producer needs to be smacked in the
yeah, well,
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's.
yeah. So anyway, so we're gonna
So we're just gonna start with music, and then I'll bring us in.
today that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so do I have to be really nice when I'm mentioning the announcer since we're still in negotiations?
I don't know. Here we go.
And we're off. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our 29th?
29th show.
29th show tonight. This is the
Dude, I got an idea.
show, and we're doing a podcast here from in the basement of beautiful downtown Lacey, Washington.
Yep, somewhere deep underground.
Yeah, somewhere deep underground. We want to welcome everybody, and yes, we don't have an announcer. We're still in negotiations with that individual. It's probably the nicest way to see. I was nice. Anyways, we're still in negotiations with him so that we can get him back on board, hopefully. Well,
Hopefully next week. We'll
I
see.
say that with bated breath, and we're talking like fishy. Anyways, this is Greg Mason, and
I'm James McEwen.
it's nice to meet
As
you
it
guys.
says on the screen if you're following us on Facebook.
And if you're not following on Facebook, then it doesn't say it on your screen.
Right. We're also live on mixlr.com or mixlr.com.
Was it Mixler or MixLR?
It's spelled MixLR. I don't know.
So what
Somebody,
is it?
I heard
What
somebody
is it?
call it Mixler, and I thought, I kind of like that. So,
Oh, so you thought you'd be cool.
yeah,
James,
I'm never cool. I know.
it's failing.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, you have your announcer's voice.
That's right.
So,
So,
ready?
oh,
Our announcer's voice.
go into. You want me to do
No,
actually
I don't.
want me
No,
to do
we're
my
good.
announcer
No,
voice?
we're good.
tonight on?
I don't want to have to shoot.
Dude, I have an idea.
I don't want to have to shoot you through your 27-inch monitor. Anyways,
You always bring that up. You must have monitor envy. I swear he has monitor envy, folks. Every day, every time he shows up, it's like, hey, how come you have 3 big monitors and I have one little one?
well, see, it's not that I have monitor envy. I'm worrying if you're compensating.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because it's like those. I used to give the kids. I used to crack a joke with the kids and say, hey, people that drive these big trucks sometimes they're
Oh, speaking of that, yeah.
compensating, right? And so they'd say, "What do you mean, Dad?" And I said, "Well, if they're driving a big white truck, then they want a big white particular
You can say it. We're on the internet.
no, member of their body parts." Or if they're driving a big black truck that they wanted. So here's the best part is that I bought this little blue Datsun pickup truck.
So, what do you want?
My kids came over the house and they said, "Dad, what's with the little blue pickup truck?" And I said, "Oh, I bought it because it was inexpensive, gets good mess to get in." And they both kind of chimed in at the same time and said, "But I thought you said people that buy pickup trucks is what they want for."
Yeah.
And they said, "You have a little blue one," and I started laughing and I said, "Smurf." So
Hey, Tanya, she's saying hi to us. So Tanya's joining us from watching us from Utah.
Salt
So,
Lake.
Yeah, well, in the Salt Lake Valley. I think she's in. Well, I'm not going to say exactly what city she's in,
Okay.
but because I'm not entirely sure. But
Somewhere up in Salt Lake. Okay,
somewhere
so
in the Salt Lake Valley.
our show tonight is on stupid, crazy people.
Yep.
And the things that they do and when we run into them and we have to deal with them. So I'm going to play a recording first because a friend of mine called and she said, because first she messaged me and she said, oh, I got a whole bunch of stories. And I said, call it in, write it in, whatever. So she called and so I'm going to try to play this thing. So I'm going to put it up to the microphone and see if we can get it done. Hold on just a second.
Otherwise, I have to plug it into the soundboard, and that's a big pain. So,
Yeah, because you might screw up the camera.
hey, it's not my camera that gets screwed up every time. It's your camera. You're the one who breaks it. My camera works perfectly every
Okay,
time.
shut up. Here goes.
Hey, you, crazy people. Well, I ride the subway every day. if that isn't just batshit crazy enough, I used to work with a lady that was crazy too, and she would say things to me like, "Did you get your hair done?" And I'd say, "Yeah," and she goes, "You should have got it blonder. It looks better when it's blonder." And then I had my socks above my boots one day, and she goes, "That looks really stupid. I don't think that you should wear your boots like that." And she was just nuts. She came over to my house once, and she was like trailer trash. And this is someone I worked with, and she was always showing off her boobs. And she didn't wear a bra over to my house to pick up cookbooks. I mean, she was fucking nuts. Crazy people on the street, though. Man, that's a whole other Oprah.
Yeah, I think that's the end where you want
Yeah,
to
it is. Yeah, because I want to cut it. She actually makes another comment in there. And I'm not going to play that because and she knows why. But Laura from Southern California, thanks. Laura and I have been friends forever. It's probably my oldest friend. We grew up the street from one another in Temple City, California. And well, actually, we lived in. I'm trying to think. I know I lived in Arcadia because I was right on the border. But I'm trying to remember if her house was in Temple City, Arcadia. So, anyways,
not that it matters, but
well, yeah, really, I know. But see, I just started to get anal on it. It's like I gotta stop.
so yeah, we're talking stupid people.
Yeah,
So
you've had interactions. I know you
Yes.
have because we've talked about it. So,
yes,
you
well,
know
go back to your
story.
truck thing. Just to crack me up because just about 3 hours ago, I took my wife to Safeway over here
Right.
to pick up some meds and get some stuff for dinner. And
Meds for you or meds for her?
for the kids, actually. But
Oh, okay.
If you really want to get technical,
Well, I was going to say that it was probably meds for her, so she can put up with you, right?
that's right. Anyway,
And
so-
I'm single, saying making comments like that.
maybe that's why he's single. But anyway, so I hear this roar, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I turn around, and here's this lifted white pickup truck, an F-150, lifted like. I mean, I would have to have both of us are.
I think it's 14-foot ladder
Yeah,
just to get into the damn thing.
Yeah, and he stops, right?
He's probably compensating.
Yeah, well, he stops and he's, waiting for this little lady to walk in front of him. Then he gets on it again and, and and the parking lot's full of slush and ice and stuff because it snowed here, which it rarely does.
Yeah.
And he's throwing it everywhere and he's just being a jerk, And I just kind of blurted out, "Sorry about your penis." and my wife, my 12-year-old daughter. And they both started laughing.
Wait a second, who is stupid then? You got your 12-year-old daughter, you make a comment like
yeah,
that.
that's me being the stupid one. But
Yeah.
no, but to your truck story. Yeah. So, but yeah, stupid people. One of my favorite stupid people stories came from years ago when I used to drive a big van for a TV station around here when I worked at a TV station.
Right.
And I won't mention them, but you would drive all
Can
over
I,
state.
though?
I don't care if you do.
Oh, so I can't mention TVW, which is the...
Yeah.
Okay, I won't mention them. Okay, go ahead anyways.
Anyway, yeah, so I would drive around, and when you're up in a big van, you look down and you can see into people's cars, and you can see what things people are doing.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people do a lot of stupid things with driving with the coffee cup and the makeup and a donut in their face, and I've seen all sorts of stuff. One day I'm driving back, and I'd been over in Spokane, and I was coming back over the mountains and just coming out of Seattle, and I look over, and here's a dude, and he's got the bottom half of a tuba. He's got the bell off, but he's got the bottom half of tuba, and he's playing on his driving. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really stupid. You get distracted, you get into a hard movement, and you forget what you're doing, crash, boom, they're going to bury you in that tuba.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Big
it's just
time.
crazy.
Or it's going to lop parts off.
Yeah.
It just... The things that people... I think that people get most stupid when they're driving.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one time.
I've seen people read while driving, like a book. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
hold it up and they're reading, and I'm thinking, I have trouble reading a text, let alone trying to read a book, War and Peace or something like
right.
that. But that's nuts.
So we had one person
Yeah, we did have one person
who
that wrote
responded
in,
to our Facebook post. Hint, hint. We'd like more interaction from you guys, so you feel free to
Come
respond.
on, if you're listening, send us stuff, please. Yeah. Okay, Miriam, who is a friend of mine from work, she said that. She says, I had to convince someone you could drive to Alaska. You didn't have to fly or take a boat. And this person thought it was, she thought it was an island southwest of the continental U.S. She was so used to seeing it on the bottom left in maps in a box next to Hawaii. Apparently, she'd never looked at them on a globe. And then when I showed her the map, I had to tilt her head for her so she could see, she could actually find it. And it's usually a different angle when it's in the box.
Mm-hmm.
But so she had to tip her head so that, and show her, hey, this is where Alaska is. Okay.
That reminds me, when I worked for a certain cell phone company and took calls, you want to talk about some stupid people.
Yep.
Do technical support for anything
electronic or
technical at all. Generally, what I did with is anybody over about 20, 25 years old, I would ask, is there a child in the house? And they'd be like, yeah, how old? Yeah, 6, 7. Yeah, that'll work. Get on my phone and they can do it. But I had this one guy call in and he goes, my phone doesn't work. And I'm like, sir, well, what's wrong with your cell phone? He goes, it doesn't have a damn dial tone. And I'm like, excuse me, sir? It's a cell phone. It doesn't have a dial tone. Well, it doesn't work because it doesn't have a damn dial tone. I'm like, sir, cell phones don't use dial tones. They're a two-way radio system. And I'm trying to explain this and, as politely as I can. And he keeps yelling at me, it doesn't. And he starts getting really mad. Doesn't work because it doesn't have a dial tone. Don't you understand what I'm telling you, son? And I'm thinking, obviously this guy's a little older. And I'm like, yes, sir, I understand, but you're not listening to me. It doesn't use a dial. It's a phone. It uses a dial tone. I finally just gave up and I said, sir, take it into the rep at the store and he'll help you with it. That's what we call passing the buck.
Yeah, just Blue Falcon to rep.
Yep. We did that all the time.
Well, it's like my mom, who worked in the computer industry forever and is pretty much the grandmother of online education. She used to send me these things that Microsoft would get with tech support and tech help and stuff like Microsoft and some of the other computer companies, because she was so well embedded in computers. And there was a guy that called tech support and said, I think it was a woman, I can't remember what gender. Anyways, called and said, how do I replace the coffee cup holder? And of course the guy's like the coffee cup holder.
Yeah. What?
And oh yeah, the little coffee cup holder, the little tray I put my coffee cup on all the time, and it took him a few minutes, and finally
you realized it was the CD-ROM drive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Or the any key. You heard about the stickers, right?
Yes.
They started selling
Press
stickers.
any key they start.
Yeah.
Well, where the hell's the any key?
Where's the any key?
Yeah, people are stupid. It's pretty funny when you work like I said, any type of technical support. One of my favorite things is when people call about their computers.
Okay, let's throw in a caveat here, though. Have you done stupid things?
Well, we all have.
Well, yeah, of course,
things, but nothing.
We kind of laugh about it.
I mean, we all have the propensity and
the potential is probably a better word
to do something stupid. I can't talk tonight. Do something stupid.
Who said you could in the first place?
Yeah, well.
So you were saying.
I was saying, but yeah, I love it when people would call in, especially. Sometimes I have to do this with my own parents, especially my dad. When he'll call up about the computer problem, and it's like, the computer's not working. Dad, is it turned on? The screen's blank. Yeah. Is there a light on the computer? No. Well, push the button. It's lighting up. There you go.
Have a nice day, Dad. I'm going to go get another beer.
Yeah, so some days, stupid people.
Well, and then and being in law enforcement, too.
Yeah.
I run into them all the time. And I still read stuff off of the Facebook post, some of the things that people say, and so I have a law enforcement one from a friend of mine, Chuck, who is now retired military, and Chuck, good job, glad you made it, and hope you're having fun with retirement. Anyways, but he was a cop also on the outside, and so he says, when I was a cop, I was making a left turn. He says about 2 a.m. because it always happens. That's the other thing too, is it always happens at 2 a.m.
Alcohol usually drops people's intelligence levels.
Drastically. He says, just about to make it. I got to put on my glasses. And my kids call these my grandpa glasses. And they said if I could catch him, I'd beat him. Anyways, he's about to make a turn. His black Chevy S10 truck blows the red light and almost takes off the front end of his patrol car. Needless to say, his partner and I are in a pursuit, 100 miles an hour per 100 miles plus per hour through the city and county roads. Sheriff's Department, California Highway Patrol, helicopter, and finally additional city units, spike strips. So when the vehicle stops, the guy jumps out and runs to the side of the road where he drops his pants and begins the process of urination. He finishes and is taken into custody. Bottom line, chase and resources used, all because he had to pee and he wanted to do it at home.
Wow. That reminds me, speaking of law enforcement stories.
So of course the thought there is too is that he has children.
Yes.
And he's teaching them things.
That reminds me of the law enforcement story. Remember your old partner from back when you were an MP? He was a Lakewood cop. Do you remember that story? The little shopping route that got...
Oh, God, that thing... Oh, yes, because that one made that one made Stupid Criminals on TV.
Yeah, you should tell that story. That one's awesome.
Okay, so Travis and Travis is now retired. He worked for the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, and there's this little stop and rob in the middle of what used to be the McCord Gate area. I can't remember what they call it now. But right outside the McCord Gate, there's this little stop and rob, and it's run by a Korean family. And here's what I'll tell you.
Oh, that's the one right where we put in the red light camera.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I know that
one right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, and of course, let me advise anyone out there that's considering any criminal acts, don't rob the Koreans' stores.
Yeah, not a good idea.
They take it very personal, and they'll come after you. So anyways, this woman goes in there, and she's going to rob the Korean store, and she has a knife. And so, wait, did she have a knife, or what was it? No, she had a shower curtain rod. Yes. Yeah. And of course, she had her disguise on, and the disguise was her sports bra wrapped around her face. So she goes in because she doesn't want to be noticed, So she goes in with the shower curtain, and she's poking this little Korean lady who's working the thing, and she says, "Give me the money, give me the money." And the Korean lady runs back, and this is you also have to realize this is a stop and rob with, I'm sorry, I got to stop calling it that. It's a little convenience store that has a cooking area. So and cooking areas have sharp knives. So the Korean lady runs back, grabs a sharp knife, comes back up front, and now she gets into a not jousting, but a sword fighting,
a little fencing.
Yeah, a little fencing contest. Thanks. A little fencing contest with the woman with the shower curtain. Well, the thing is the woman with the shower curtain drops the shower curtain, and it lands on the counter. So the Korean lady grabs it up. So now she has the knife and the shower curtain. So what does she do? She sets the knife down, right?
Puts the knife down, starts beating you with a shower curtain.
Yes, exactly. And of course, she chases the woman out of the store, and the woman runs down the street. So the Korean lady picks up, calls 911, and Travis responded. So Travis talks to this woman, tells her where it is. So he says, "Where'd she go?" And the Korean lady says, "Right down that street." So Travis looks down the street, and there stands the woman hiding behind a fence, looking out every once in a while to see if the police were coming.
Yeah, stupid people.
And was rapidly taken into custody.
That reminds me of a personal story from my family, my wife's family. You can probably remember this.
So you're gonna disassociate this one. This is not a DNA thing. This is a marriage thing.
My wife's younger sister, not her youngest sister, but she has two younger sisters, but the one next to her in age, didn't have the best choice in men. And she married a guy that had got away for armed robbery. And
sorry, there's additional information on this story.
He had gone into the Little Caesars there in Orem, Utah, and had robbed it at gunpoint. This is way back in the early 90s. And so years later, after he's been out of prison and he's married her and they've moved up here and they were staying with us for a little while, and I finally hearing the story of how he got popped for armed robbery, and he's telling me what happened, and he says, "Yeah, the cops caught me a couple of blocks away." And I said, "Well, okay, so you ran in, you did the thing, you got the cash, you ran out, and how the cops know it was you?" They didn't have security cameras at that little place back then. And,
right.
And he goes, "Well, I was kind of running with my ski mask on." So it was pretty easy to spot. The only guy in the middle of the summer in Utah running down the street with a bag of cash, a gun, and a ski mask.
I can see the officer going, well, I think I found him.
Yeah, I think I got this
what
guy.
makes you think you found him?
So-
I got a guy running down the street with
Yeah,
a ski mask on.
I can say this because she divorced him long ago, but so yeah, he was not the sharpest tool in the shed.
I'm not even sure he was much of a tool in the shed.
He was just a tool.
I don't think he was in the shed, but okay.
But yeah, for years, while they were married, I wanted to get him a monogrammed ski mask for 1 year for Christmas. My wife would not let me. I wanted to do it so bad.
So there was and it brings up because you have to realize that even in law enforcement, we have stupid people that work in law enforcement. Granted, most of them don't work very long in it, but there was a kid that showed up at Fort Lewis, and this goes way back, and he shows up, and he's there for a couple of months, and then one day he turns up with a Porsche. Gorgeous car. Absolutely beautiful car. So he says, I made the comment. I said, what are you, a drug dealer or something? You know, how do you afford a car like this? Because the kid was like an E3. Mm-hmm. I said, how do you afford a car like this? Are you a drug dealer or what? And he goes, no, I just bought it. I saved my money. I was like, okay, no problem. Well, I guess it was about 6-8 weeks later, the Oregon State Police showed up and took him into custody. He had gone down to, and it was a search and rescue, or, you know, one of those, what are they called? The volunteer search and rescue groups?
Volunteer search and rescue groups?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no kidding. Sorry. That was, hey, look, I can even do it right here on camera. So he went down this volunteer search and rescue group, and my understanding is he used to work for him. And he went in there, and he broke into the place and stole a bunch of radio equipment, a whole bunch of stuff, ran it down to the pawn shop and pawned it.
And sold it to buy a Porsche?
Yeah, and that's what he did with the money. He bought this Porsche.
What an idiot.
I know. I mean, here's the thing. Pawn tickets, the police go to the pawn shops looking for this stuff.
Yep.
Also, all the equipment he stole, and my understanding, again, was that this group knew him.
Mm-hmm.
And he, knew him, and he knew them, and so why are you stealing? Now, there's also, I must admit, there is a whole plethora of stupid things that I could talk about, but I have to refrain from discussing it.
Why is that?
Well, because I'm not supposed to.
Oh, okay.
And so,
Not yet, anyway.
Maybe in a later show we could talk about all kinds of...
Once it's been declassified, right?
Yeah, I guess you could use that term, yes.
Yeah.
So, and I think that happens next month. Anyways, but there's in the military we see the stupid stuff all the time. We had a guy that we had an MP that shot himself in the hand.
MPs are some of the worst, actually. To be honest with you.
Really? No, I'm sorry. Here's the thing: is that the only reason that everybody knows about the MP stuff, one, is because I've worked in the field, and the other is because it's the ones that get really published.
Well, yeah, because the MPs, they're held to a higher standard. They screw up.
It's right.
But,
it's all over the.
Yeah, this one comes back. This story comes back to being stupid. Back to my days as a civilian guard on the gates there at Fort Lewis during the war. We had done such a fantastic job as civilians catching crap coming through the gates. So we backed up the MPs, and they came out and told us, stop. We're too much paperwork for us. We were catching too many drug dealers coming in on post.
Yeah.
And so they said, unless it's, if it's personal amount of use, destroy it, send them off post. We don't want to deal with it. We only want the big bus. We're like, okay, fine. So they got smart, and so what they did is they set up a dial-in service like pizza delivery. You dial out to a guy outside, and he'd measure out whatever you ordered, and he'd bring in only a personal amount. And this was going on quite a bit. And so,
so if he got caught, he wasn't.
If he got caught,
much, right.
they dump a little bit, and they send him on his way, and they don't charge him. They don't do anything with him. They just go away. Don't come back.
If it doesn't work at your gate, I'll go through the one up the street, and maybe not get stopped up there either.
Right. So we had a gal that was bringing in. She was a military service member, and she was bringing in these. She had three. She was a little white gal, and there were three big black gentlemen with her, and a little black gentleman with her, and I came on at 9 o'clock, and you don't have to show your ID until 11 o'clock,
right?
Or everybody's ID until 11 o'clock. One ID would do,
right?
So they've been coming in and out, and I'm saying, "Hi, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. We're talking, like every 15-20 minutes, they're coming in and out of the gates, Nothing I can do, and they're not doing anything illegal, right? 11 o'clock.
That you know of?
Well, that I can prove or do anything about. 11 o'clock comes along. Little black guy doesn't have an ID,
right?
Sorry, you have to take him off post. Can't bring him on board. Yeah, sorry, not going to happen.
So it's just regulations.
Yeah, we turn them around. It's nothing personal. We just you have to have an ID. Goodbye. Have a nice day. So we turn around, and we have this magic little tool. It's called a telephone. And we pick up the telephone and we dial the nearest gate, which I was on Madigan Gate, so the nearest gate is the main gate. So
Right.
you call them first, and then you call Northgate and so on. And you say, hey, this is the car, this is who we turned around, this is why we turned them around. And for people who don't know the Fort Lewis area, I-5 runs right through the middle of Fort Lewis.
Right.
And there are, between Main Gate and Madigan Gate, there is nowhere to pull off that isn't Fort Lewis. You cannot put anybody, it's just freeway. So if you pull off the road and dump somebody, they're still on Fort Lewis, period. So, and it only takes 2 to 3 minutes to drive between the
Well,
two
also
gates.
you can't dump them off on the freeway.
Yeah, so there's nowhere to put them. You have to drive up into Telecom or down to DuPont, and that takes longer than 2 or 3 minutes. So I turn around, call the gates. A couple of minutes go by, I get a phone call from Main Gate. Hey, that car you turned around? We just turned them around too. I'm like, okay, so here they come. And it's been like 3 minutes. I'm like, there's no way they stopped and dropped this kid anywhere. But he's
Right.
not in the car, so... where's the kid? You didn't drop him on the side of the freeway. So,
Right.
I've been on the job for a couple of years by this point, and I kind of knew what was going on. He's in the trunk, right? So he's a trunk monkey. And so I called him, and that comes from Grace, like, no, don't say that. No, that was a term we used because of there was these commercials about chimpanzees in the trunk.
I
So
could see all kinds of hate mail coming in for that.
so
Anyways.
that we coined that anybody we found, regardless of race, color, or creed,
fact, it was
they were a trunk monkey. That was
yes, I
just what we called them. Okay. So anyway, so he's a trunk monkey. So we pull him over. I'm like, pull over, and so she pulls over, and I go.
You did something stupider than I did.
So I have a step out of the car and open your trunk, right? So I'm going to search the trunk, and there's all these boxes. I'm like, move the boxes, ma'am. And so she moves one of the boxes, and there's this little tuft of head. I'm like, a hair, and there's a head. And I'm like, yep. You need to get out. He goes, I'm in trouble. I'm like, yeah, you're in trouble. Get out of the car. So we get him out, and so I've got her.
How many warrants did he have for his arrest?
Hold on. So we had him, and then we had her, and I'm talking to her and getting her information. We call the MPs. They're on their way, and I'm getting her information. The MP rolls up, and he gets out, and he comes over, and he says, so what unit are you from? And she goes, M42nd MP Brigade. And he goes, excuse me, could you say that again a little louder? And she's 42nd MP Brigade. He's like, could you be a little bit more specific? And she's like, HHC. And then I went, click, I know who you are. I recognized your name. Every day, the security force would get a briefing from the provost marshal's office. And
Right.
she's the name on the email. She's the one sending out the emails.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so now she works for the top cop on Fort Lewis, and she does our security briefings, and she's bringing in guys without IDs trying to smuggle them in. So it gets better.
Is she trying to smuggle the guys in, or they're carrying drugs?
The guy in, the guy in the back. They still had the 3 guys in the car.
Right.
That had IDs. So we start running IDs. All 3 of them pop with felony warrants. So you know what that means? Means you shut down gate operations and guns come out, and it's a felony stop.
Right.
And so we pull these guys out one at a time. We get the first 2 guys out, get them cuffed, and then it starts pouring rain, just like how it opens up the sky and buckets.
Yeah.
And the 3rd guy doesn't want to go down. And so I'm thinking the MPs are yelling, and I'm standing there going, they're going to shoot him. I'm going to see this guy get shot. Because he's stupid, doesn't want to get down and get wet. So they compromise, put him over the trunk, and they put him in handcuffs. So they start digging into him and searching him, and they start pulling out wads of money here and there, $20 bills, $5 bills, $10 bills. They kept pulling and 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 pulling. It was like a comic. Like he was the clown car.
All for money, right?
Yeah, all the money. I mean, his sock, his shoe, in here and on that pocket. He had $18,000 cash on him.
$18,000?
Yep. But we never could find any drugs on him. They must have dumped it. So, anyway.
Yeah, but he had to. Here's the thing, though, too, is that once the money was taken into custody, then he's got to argue why he wants it. Why he should.
Oh, but here's well, this isn't really the stupid part. The stupid part was not getting down and her bringing in, being. That was the stupid part. Here's the funny part. About 2:00 in the morning, they go walk. The MPs go out of the gate, and then they're gone for about 5 minutes. And they come back through, and the MP stops. And says, that guy with all the money? And yeah, well, nobody would confirm the warrants. And I'm like, what? So you had to let him go? He's like, yeah, we just dropped him Telecom. So what'd you do with the money? We couldn't find any reason to seize it, so we had to give it back to him.
Man.
And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, hold on. And I leaning closer to the car, and I said, so you're telling me you just dropped a guy in Telecom with $18,000 of cash? And he's like, yeah. I says, why didn't you tell me before? He's like, why? I said, because I got a half-hour lunch and I'm armed. I'd split it with you. The guy's eyes got as big as plates. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. But
well, speaking of one of the guards doing something crazy, you heard the story about the guard that went to. He lived in a little trailer out in the McCord Gate area in Lakewood.
okay.
And the only thing in the trailer was the hole in the floor.
I know that guard. I worked with him.
and he went to have his taxes done,
Uh-huh.
and he walks in uniform, nameplate on, the whole 9 yards, gives him all his personal information, and he's got his gun belt on, but no gun.
Yeah, he threatened him and put his hand on the holster.
Put his hand on the holster and said, I want all the money back, every single dime that was taken out for taxes.
Yeah, I know who that guy is. I worked many nights
Actually, you
with him.
should
And
say you knew who he was.
It doesn't surprise me.
Well, from what Lakewood PD said, he was a tweaker anyways.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, nobody was surprised when we heard that. We're like, yeah, okay. All right, so Tanya's got a story for us.
Okay.
So it says, my husband drives a semi-truck and was getting off the freeway at 600 South to head up to the University of Utah. I've been in Washington too long. Sorry, Tanya. He loves driving semi because you have a great view of everything. Yes, you do. He goes over 400 South and sees a four-door midsize car with moonroof. It was open. All the windows tinted and almost blacked out. When he gets beside the vehicle, he notices the woman driving starts to proceed with changing her clothes. She's about to go, about changing out everything, including the bra, panties. He followed her for 300 west, 1100 east, watching. Yeah, I'm sure he did, Tanya. Did you punch him when he got home? Let's see.
But he admitted this to her?
Apparently.
Okay, now what was stupid? Was she stupid
When
changing clothes in the car, or was he stupid telling his wife about it?
When she finished, he honks the horn and waves to her. He got the license, and his dispatcher is retired Utah Highway Patrol and got her address to send her a thank you card. That's awesome. This for the show he gave, and that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. It reminds me of that. Speaking of gate guards, we had a what do you call her? Dependent wife.
And family member wife.
Yes.
Dependent is not the proper political.
Well, yeah. Okay. She was a wife of a service member.
Yes.
And her husband, her spouse, was deployed.
Right.
And she worked as a stripper. And she loved
That's common.
She loved to come through the gates after she got off work about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Especially Madigan Gate. She always came through Madigan Gate, and she had black tinted windows. Really, actually, probably illegal for Washington State tinted. And she'd come through and roll down the window and hand her your ID. Well, we loved to put new guys out there when she'd come through.
Oh, she wasn't wearing anything
She
at
was
all.
butt naked. Butt naked every time. And the thing is, in Washington State, it's not illegal to be naked in your car as long as
Right.
you're not displaying anything outside,
Right.
sticking out the window. You're fine. There's no law against it. So, yeah, we used to have a lot of fun with that.
Now
too,
that you've
guys.
said that, we're going to have people driving around it. And I'm going to be like, Okay, anyways.
So, anyway.
Well, there was also, okay, so for the last thing, since we're running out of time here.
Yep.
Somebody, I don't know if it was a tweet or what it was, but put on, I saw this on Facebook, and of course Facebook is fake book. It really is a bunch of, what is it? Facebook is people lying to impress other people that they don't even like.
Or no. Or
Yeah, or really give a damn about. Anyways, okay, so this was on it. Somebody had said that the Super Bowl had been around longer than the United States.
Yes.
And the other person said, why is that? And they said, well, because we've only had 45 presidents, but we've had 51 Super Bowls.
Yeah, do the math.
It's okay, folks. There's stupid people out there. And you know that stupid people are like dead people. They only cause problems for those around them, and they don't realize they're that way.
Yep. Unfortunately,
I think that if we talked about this, we could probably talk for a couple of hours.
Yeah, well, I was going to say this. There was a recent study in the United Kingdom about stupid people, and they came to the conclusion after studying a whole bunch of people and giving them IQ tests.
Can you imagine the guys that did the study, though? I'd have been a drunk by the end of it.
They came. Here's the results
Or
they found.
committed suicide.
They found that people who we consider stupid or a certain IQ range and below don't have the capacity. They don't have enough going on to realize that they're stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And so that causes the problems that they have.
I believe that. I firmly believe that, because there's some people I've said things to, and they'll go, huh?
Well, here's the thing: is they were saying is that if you have the ability to look at yourself and something you've done and go, oh, "I'm an idiot. I did something stupid," that isn't a sign of intelligence.
Right.
The self-recognize that you made a mistake. You did something stupid. Because stupid people don't do that.
I had
apparently.
a guy
according to the study.
right off the top of my head that I remember. I had a guy walk into an interview, and I was getting ready to interview him. He was a subject of an investigation. I was going to interview him. Mm-hmm. And we walk into a room, and the first thing he says to me is, "You're never going to believe me."
Probably not.
And I said, "You're probably right." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Never mind. It's not important."
Right.
And then he commenced to tell his story. The best part, though, was I took his story, I turned it around and used it against him. And he looked at me and he says, well, I guess I am responsible. I guess I am the one that has to pay the fine.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's okay.
All right, so sponsors.
Who do you want to talk about in your wonderful announcer
My
voice?
announcer voice.
Do you want to talk about your book? And yes, how much longer? Okay, folks, Amazon.
You might as well start with that one.
Right, Amazon.com, Hammer's War Series, Forging the Hammer, Hammer. Oh, come
Forging
on.
the Hammer.
Okay, let me do it. All right, Forging the Hammer, Dimension Shift, First Strike.
Yep.
See, I could do it. Okay,
And the upcoming
I'm not as stupid as you look.
Hammer's Commandos, which I finished.
Hammer Goes Commando.
No.
Hang on a sec, though. Everybody's going to remember that.
Yeah.
Because they thought that was great. So,
Yep.
anyways. Okay.
Yeah, I finished the first draft.
You're done.
The first draft.
Yes.
Today. Finished it. Done. First draft done.
Woo! Outstanding.
So now I got to go do the rewrites and then hand it over to you to do some editing.
Yes.
But yeah, it's done. So,
So how long is it going to take for you to do the rewrites?
I don't know, a week or two.
A week or two.
He's chomping at the bit to
Look
get
at
the
me.
book.
Look at me. You're ducking lower and lower behind
Yeah,
the monitor
like-
as I'm raising up trying to look at
He's
you.
like, a week or two?
A week or two?
So
Okay,
that must tell you about the story.
Okay, so in 2 weeks. Because you know,
You're nailing me to the wall, aren't
yeah,
you?
I really am. Because
Okay.
I'm planning a trip to Hawaii. I already know
Right.
the dates I'm going. I'm pretty sure the dates. I'm just confirming it with lodging over on the other end. Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Anyways,
Like what? What's your point?
I'm not going to tell you until we've got it.
Okay.
Until it's a definite. So in 2 weeks, because Here's the thing: I'd like to take it with me. I'll take it on my laptop and I'll do some editing while I'm there
Wow.
because I'm going to go through it. It's
That's quite actually, that's really an endorsement. Think
then
about
I'll do it. Well, yeah. Well, I'm
He's in Hawaii. He wants to work on my book.
Right. Well, you have to understand. I'm going to do very little work on it, but I will work on it somewhat. But because I've got long flights back and forth.
Yeah.
So Hammer's War Series, Amazon.com, written by James S. McEwen.
That's me.
Don't miss this stuff, folks. It's great. It really is. I gave one of your books away. I think I told you the other day I gave one of your books away. So haven't heard back from them, and I haven't seen it thrown in the trash. So
Hey,
still
positive.
tracking in the right direction. Yeah.
Tin-Soldier.com, the place on the web to get your original I can't talk today, man.
Hang on a minute.
Miniatures.
10-soldier.com, the place to get your original miniatures for dioramas, for diagrams, for gaming, for...
Wargaming, historicals, whatever you do with miniatures.
Why am I doing all the commercials here?
I don't know, because it's been a long day. I had a long
are you gonna get
weekend,
paid?
so
You had a long weekend.
yeah, very long weekend. So
But you know what? Your weekend was just as long as mine and everybody else's. Because you know what? You didn't get it. What was? Oh,
actually, I had a 3-day weekend, but I worked.
Was Sunday 25 hours for you?
Oh, shut up. So that leads me to check out tin-soldier.com.
Check out Amazon.com. Hammer's
yep.
War Series.
But that leads me into
Yes.
my next comment with a shout out to the Capitol High School robotics team in Olympia, Washington. They made it to the state competition for the first tech challenge, and they made it all the way to the semifinals. They led the day, first place almost the whole day, and they finished strong. They didn't win the state champions, but they did a really good, strong showing. So shout out to them. That's my son's team, Seamus. And Greg showed up for a little bit. He saw the match, and it's pretty impressive to watch those kids build those robots. So
Trying to think if I don't have any shout outs this week.
well, that's okay.
Of course, I always do shout outs to my kids, Sam and Aaron. Let's see, anything. Nothing at all. Shout out to Hawaii only because setting up to plan that trip, it will be in March. And yes, I'll be gone on a Monday. So I will definitely talk from there.
Yep, we'll do another remote.
And folks understand I go to Hawaii for two reasons. One is that, yes, it's a great place to be, and I love it there. But also the other thing, too, is to visit family. I have my grandmother and father's ashes were spread off the coast of Hawaii, and my grandfather was buried at sea way off the coast. And so for me to go home, it's a chance for me to kind of reconnect with them.
So shout out to our fans. Tanya, thanks for joining us. Thanks
Yeah.
for your story. Thanks to your friend.
Definitely.
You going to give her a name? Or
Which friend? The one that
the
called?
one that called in, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Laura. I already did. I said
Okay.
Laura down in Southern California.
So, yeah. Anything else?
Nothing.
All right, let's end this puppy.
Okay. Hey, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening,
All
James.
righty. Yep, I'll echo that sentiment.
All right, miss you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
All right, have a good night, guys.